Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I didn't upload this video sooner, but here it is now. So this is the follow-up video to my first anxiety video. And today I just wanted to kind of go over how the last couple weeks on the medication have been. It's been about 15 days since I started it. So I wanted to try and do these videos weekly, but last week got away from me, so I didn't get a chance to do it. And so I thought this would be a good day because a couple days ago I actually just increased my dosage of the medication. So I was like, you know what, let's film this video now. So when I first started taking the medication for my anxiety, I started at I think it was 37.5 or something like that, something in the 30s range for dosage. So it's basically one pill. And I figured out that taking it right when I wake up in the morning with my other medication, my thyroid and my hormone medication, was the best time for me, because any later than that throughout the day, I was having a really hard time sleeping. So I've been taking the medication every day at 7 a.m. 10 days after I started the medication, I increased the dosage to, I think it was 70 milligrams. It might have been 75 of the anxiety medication. And I haven't felt too much of a change from taking one pill to taking two pills. I just take two pills in the morning instead of one. I tried it a few different times of the day on different days, and I just had a really hard time sleeping. That was probably my biggest side effect. I would have like insomnia and I would be tired. It's just that I wouldn't be able to fall asleep for no particular reason. And so taking it early in the morning helps me have a better sleep. I would say that my sleep still isn't as good as it was before I was on this medication. It still takes me a little bit longer to fall asleep. I think I do have like a pretty decent sleep, but I guess you could say that sometimes it feels like a bit interrupted. So I've always had trouble sleeping since I started my cancer treatment, so I don't know if it is directly from the medication or if it's just a weird time for me. But I would say that it's probably from the medication, because nothing else in my lifestyle has really changed for me to not be able to sleep. Been just over 2 weeks and I'm actually feeling really good. My therapist said that usually you don't start to feel the effects of the medication until like a month in, when you get to the desired dosage level, which I think was like 135 milligrams. But I have definitely noticed that I feel so much better. I feel lighter. I don't know if you can tell, like I just feel good. Like I feel happier about things. I don't have this like weight pushing down on my shoulders. And generally I am finding that like my day-to-day anxiety, the stuff that like distracts me and keeps me up at night, has pretty much like faded away. I wouldn't say it's gone like permanently. There are still some moments where I'm like, oh my god, freaking out. But generally speaking, I would say like a huge improvement overall. Feel a lot more ready to take on the day. I'm not as tired. I feel like I have some more energy, and I don't think this medication gives you energy, but because it reduces your anxiety, your body just feels better and you have more energy. So like if you were to like, you know, take some active B complex and you get that like spur of energy, that's kind of how I feel. And so I decided while I was taking this medication, like just kind of starting it, I wouldn't be taking any of my other supplements that I usually take, except for my vitamin D, because I wanted to actually see the full results of this medication on its own. So I'm not taking any other supplements that might also improve my mood. Like I said, I usually take active B complex, and I'm not taking that. So I really do think that it is from the medication. I honestly, this is gonna sound so weird, I haven't thought about cancer in like 2 weeks, like since I started this medication. And that's saying a lot, because as a cancer survivor, cancer is kind of like, it's part of your everyday life from the moment you're diagnosed. Like you're always going to have it in your life. And yes, there are still things as a survivor that you deal with, but in terms of thinking about cancer, I haven't thought about it in 2 weeks, and I think that's really amazing. Overall, speaking for this medication, I feel really good. My therapist is going to increase my dosage. We're gonna keep going up in increments until we get to, like I said, the desired dose. And so I will keep checking in and letting you guys know. So now that that's out of the way, I wanted to just talk a little bit about like what gives me anxiety. I'm sweating. The back of my knees are drenched. That's disgusting. Okay, the lighting just dramatically changed because I'm using natural lighting, so I apologize. There's a big cloud going over the sun. I would say that I started having really bad anxiety when I was about 18, when I went into university. In my first year of university, I developed a bit of an eating disorder, which I have talked about before. It wasn't anything severe that I had to go get help for it, but it was severe in the sense that I was putting a lot of pressure on this idea of being perfect for myself. First year of university for a lot of people is a time of like change and transition, and it was for me too. And as I was going through these changes, I became obsessed with this idea of just being better and better. And I would say that for most of my life, I've had issues with food in terms of just food anxiety and like what I'm eating, how much nutrition is in it, how many calories are in it, how is it going to help my body, whatever. But when I went to university, that kind of escalated to a point where I was making myself like be really unhealthy. So I'd basically eat once a day and I would work out like 2 to 4 hours a day almost every day. I lost a lot of weight. I was at my lowest weight. I think I was at like 138, and I'm 5'4". So if you look online, like scientifically, when you're 5'4", your like ideal body weight is like I think in the 130s. But for the person I am, that is unachievable in the sense that I have to make myself sick in order to get to that weight. I have to eat very little and I have to exercise a lot to be that size. And I don't think that's healthy. And I personally don't think that any body weight that's scientifically noted is accurate for every person, because every person's metabolism, lifestyle, whatever is different. So you can't just say, yeah, you're 130 pounds and you're 5'4" and that's like perfect for you, because it's not achievable and it's not realistic. And it took me a long time to really realize that. I got myself out of my eating issues and I just started taking good care of myself. I started seeing a naturopath and I really changed my diet, and I made like a really good diet and exercise routine that was really working for me, and I felt like my anxiety was slowly getting better. I was still like obsessed about like the numbers and knowing how much I was eating, but I was actually eating and I was taking good care of myself. Then I got diagnosed with cancer, and all of that basically went out the window because drugs, chemo, radiation, you name it, changes your body, gained a bunch of weight, my self-esteem plummeted, and my anxiety skyrocketed. In my first year of treatment, it was about February, so I was almost finished my chemo, and I had started working out like crazy. I started working out like 3 times a week again, like doing weights and going to the gym, like just in my basement and stuff. I was starting to like cycle back into that dark place where I was obsessed with the way that I looked, and I felt like everyone was judging me because I was like this cancer patient and I looked so different, and I felt like, maybe not judging is the right word, I felt like people could tell that I was different and I didn't like that. It felt to me like I was different from all my friends, and that made me want to work harder. And so I started to develop this anxiety in social situations because I felt like everybody was looking at me. They noticed like my hair was gone or really thin, my skin was really pale, I had lost my eyebrows or my eyelashes, I just didn't look like myself, and I felt very uncomfortable with that. And then I also got really depressed because everyone in my life was moving forward and I felt like I was stuck in the same position or moving backwards because I had cancer and I wasn't a normal 21-year-old anymore. And I just basically went to school and came home and went to chemo, and I didn't do anything else. And so when I finished my chemo and radiation in 2015 for the first year, for the 4 months before I was re-diagnosed again, I was working out like a mad person. I had so much anxiety about getting back to the old me and being the old Kayla. My body was so full of poison that no matter how hard I worked out, I couldn't lose any weight because of all the steroids I had taken, all the chemo, all the different drugs. My body was like this tank of like toxicity. I felt like, oh, I'm a failure. I can't get back to my old self. I was in a relationship and I was like, this person's not gonna wanna like be intimate with me and not gonna wanna like touch me or anything. And that's kind of when my anxiety for like, I guess my sexual anxiety kind of started to kick in, because I didn't want to have any like sexual relations with my boyfriend that I was with. I was very self-conscious, very uncomfortable with my body. I didn't want him to see what this new body looked like. I had scars everywhere. My skin was falling off. I had all this like extra weight and I felt so like ashamed. Like I was like a failure, that I couldn't maintain my body that it was before cancer, and then I couldn't get back my body after cancer. And so all of these like food anxiety, body anxiety, boyfriend dating anxiety, and then social circles with my friends anxiety just kept piling on top of each other until I was like ready to combust. I was diagnosed a second time, and at that point I basically was like, fuck everything. I was so mad, and everything I felt that I had worked towards that summer was for nothing. It all went to shit, because then when I started my treatment again, which was the treatment for prepping my body for a stem cell transplant, I gained even more weight. I was like, I think my heaviest weight during chemo was 196. And that's a fucking lot of weight. I'm 5'4". Like, that's a lot. I went from 155 to 196 pounds. Like, that's insane. And I'm not like putting these numbers out there to make people feel bad for me or like be like, oh my God, like now you look so good, whatever. Like, I'm just being realistic that for me, that weight that I had gained literally destroyed my world. In every aspect, even family. I'd never wanted to go out. When people came over, I didn't really want to like be with them. I was a massive bitch to everybody. And I had so much anxiety about people looking at me. I felt like every time I walked down the street, everyone was looking at me. Every time I walked to go to the mall, people were looking at me. They knew that I wasn't this normal person anymore. And it just fucking spiraled out of control. All of that cancer anxiety just basically I kept bottled up inside until maybe about 2017, when I started to really address my feelings about it and talk about it and started going to therapy. I started to really like unload some of those things. But even when you talk about anxiety like that, it doesn't make it go away. It made me feel better in the moment when I was talking to someone. But then as soon as I went home, I would start to feel that way again. And so I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's 2019 now, it's August. I really feel like, even taking out the fact that I started taking medication, I have taken a lot of steps to become happy with this new person I am and this new life that I live. So yeah, that's my rant. I feel good. I need a sip of water. So that's basically it for this video. I'm sorry I just like yelled at the camera for like 20 minutes, but I really felt like I needed to say all those things so you could understand where my anxiety comes from. And like I said, my anxiety isn't gone. I still have anxiety about things. You know, I have a date tomorrow and I'm anxious about it because I'm like, oh my God, like, am I going to be able to go out with people again because I had cancer and it's changed, you know, different functions of my body and my emotions, and I'm a little bit of a harder person now, but it doesn't matter because putting yourself out there and moving forward is more important. I will check back in with you guys when the next I will check back in with you guys when the next dosage increases and I have a little bit more insight to share. So thanks so much for watching. And if you are also suffering from anxiety as a cancer patient or survivor or just a regular old human being, then just know you're not alone and we're on this journey together. And I hope that this video could help you out and show you that there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And if you want me to do a video on a specific thing, please drop me a comment below. Like and subscribe to my channel, and that's basically it. So thanks so much everyone, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.